It's Monday, which means I am streaming. My beloved brother and sister-in-law have left, and that's sad because we had a great time just gaming. My wife's got the TV up way too loud, but we had a really good time gaming. And actually, uh-oh, the camera fell. Come on, I'm over here being the king of the boomers, and I'm not even a boomer. They brought me some gifts, I guess, from Christmas or whatever it is. And because, I keep saying how my family loves board games. Oh, let's turn the chat on. Now that I've fought with the. You are streaming. I am streaming. How you doing, Bo? What's up? What minis are you painting? How you doing? How's life? How's the weather? All that stuff, man. I'm streaming and I'm getting ready to show off this board game that my sister and brother-in-law got me and tell you guys how awesome it is. There we go. Oh, let me clear that. So the game in question, and it doesn't look like much. It's Escape the Dark Castle. And on the inside, it's got a number of characters that each have different stats. And then it's got a deck of cards called chapter cards. And, you shuffle them up and you make a deck out of however many players' chapter cards. And each chapter card is like a room in the dungeon or a trap or a monster you have to fight. And then there's another deck, of course, that's full of different treasure you can find, like a rotten shield or a decayed blade or whatever. We played this game. Let me hold it right up. We played this game like multiple times, and it was fun every single time. Plus, I think what's awesome about it, it's for 1 to 4 players, but it only takes like no more than 30 minutes. And I mean, literally, it takes 2 minutes to set up, and it's so easy to learn. You know what I mean? So you start with 12 hit points because monsters do damage to you, and if anyone dies, you all lose. And you just travel around this dungeon, which is made by flipping a card and seeing what's in the dungeon. So yeah, it was. I was so excited about it. Building a Felgor Ravager kit. Oh no! For an alternative for your, yeah. I mean, as long as you're playing with friends, no one's going to care. And if they do, then find better friends to play with. So anyway, guys, I don't know how much this cost. It was a gift. The art in it's really cool. It's black and white, but it's like really cool. It's kind of almost grim like. And yeah, this is the kind of game you would get like the wife that never wants to play D&D. Get her to play this. Who knows? Maybe after she plays this a bunch of times and gets used to the idea of playing a person in a dungeon fighting and trying to get treasure and stay alive. Who knows? Maybe she'll slip on into the next thing. But I make no guarantees. But you never know. I have so much to paint, but I'm clearing the desk out pretty good though. So, but yeah, they showed up. That's why I haven't streamed in like a couple days or so. They showed up and we just been just running around having a good time. Went out to dinner a couple of times, just hung out, played board games. They love board games. That's one thing with all of my in-laws on my wife's family. It's like they just love board games. Can't get enough. They're always down to play board games, dice games, dominoes. Like when we visit my father-in-law, guaranteed we're playing Mexican or train dominoes or whatever. It's like, so that's cool. Oh, look at this guy. Speaking of brothers and brother-in-laws, hello, brother. Wow, the silent treatment. Yeah, it sounds like Hungar's giving me the silent treatment. That's not nice. But anyway, we'll let him jerk around with that until he figures it out. But yeah. I have spent, they left a little earlier, and I have spent most of the day reading my Hyperborea books and the adventures that I, at some point, would like to run. So
What you want to run, fool?
I said I've spent most of the day reading my Hyperborea rule books and the monster part and the different adventures that I intend to run as the game goes on.
Nice.
So what's up?
None? I saw that you were streaming, so I figured I'd join you.
Well, okay. That's awesome because I always like hanging with my brosive,
Bro Cephas,
my brosifus, my home skillet.
Bohemian Rhapsody,
Yeah, man, all those things.
Bro
But
Chacho.
I was just showing off a game that I got that was really, really cool. Called Escape the Dark Castle.
Yeah.
And so I don't know if you decide to buy a game or want a game in the near future, you know, either do it or let me know. Because I could see picking this game up. It's a really easy, fun game, you know. And you can play it solo if you want, but I imagine you would die. Yeah, my home skillet. I don't know where did we pick that up?
I don't know. We just start calling each other home skillet one day.
Well, your thing was to call me home duck.
We call each other stupid shit all the time. That's what bros do.
Be like, "What up, home duck?" And then you'd quack at me, and I'd be like, "It's all good though." Home duck, home slice, home skillet. Yeah, maybe. I think a lot of that home shit started in like the late '80s, and Haas was in on the football team, and so we were hanging out with a very ethnically mixed group of individuals, and we
Yeah.
picked up some of that nomenclature. What up, Holmes? You know, what up, cuz? Except the real way to say it is you don't actually say the whole word. You don't say cuz, you say cuz.
What up,
What up,
cuz?
cuz? Yeah, but I can't help but want to finish the actual whole word. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, it was just some of the guys we hung out with. They talk slang and we picked it up. But I mean, to be honest, when we're up north, we pick up that slang, which is I always joke around that Appalachian isn't actually English. It's like its own language group.
Because it is.
Because it's like, yeah, get way up in the hills in Kentucky or North Carolina and start talking to those old people. Even I have no idea what half the shit they're saying is. It's like they're speaking English from like 1700 still. I have a slave that needs to be strapped to an idol, and I've got this round thing that I'm going to turn into an idol.
Nice.
So now all I got to do is find the slave to strap to it. Right. That's the problem when you got like 100 miniatures on the table. But at least, so this is the paint scheme I decided to go with for the cultists from the Mansions of Madness. But I guess you could use them for anything, really. I think the black, the red, and the bronze, it stands out really well, you know? It's like, boom, check this shit out. So do you have anything to report?
No, just been hanging out, playing WoW, goofing off.
It's funny how you could admit that and not feel shame.
No shame in my game. Yeah.
I mean, wow. I tell you what, the game that will never die. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Even though it should have, like a decade ago, at least. It's like EQ1, one of the guys that waits tables at the sports bar I go to when I'm in the mood for a good salad. He invited me to join him on his EQ1 server, and I'm like, what? Like, I'm pretty sure I quit playing EQ1 back in like the mid-late 90s or something, right?
Hey, you
Whenever
know,
Dark Age of Camelot came out. What's up, Timmy?
Yeah.
How you doing, man?
What up, Timmy? You know the guy who owns the computer store is still playing that.
Well, I know that he was a little upset with you because they power leveled your ass and then you never played again.
Yeah, because it was boring.
Well, I mean, he mentioned that to me though.
I gave him my whole account. So why is he upset about it?
Well, I guess because he didn't need another level 50 ranger account or something. He actually was hoping for another person to be in his guild. So, you know, when you chucked out, it kind of defeated the whole point of what he was trying to do.
Yeah, I just couldn't get into it.
Yeah. That's why I don't play it. I can't get into anything.
The only thing you get into is trouble.
Actually, yeah.
I do kind of like playing SWTOR a little bit, but that's mainly for the story.
Hungar would paint them white.
I'm leveling up my warlock.
Hungar is going to paint this town red and paint his wife white.
That's right.
Something, rock like Amadeus. Get West Coast bitches for my East Coast players.
Cowboy, baby.
You know what's weird about that bastard? I thought he was the worst, most untalented guy ever when it first come out. The first time I heard Kid Rock, I was like, this guy truly sucks. You know what I mean? I was like, he is the worst. And yet he's still around.
Yeah, he
won't go away.
I'm not much of a fan, but he's still there. He's still doing that.
He's still out there. He's still doing shit. I think he had a kind of a hit with Sheryl Crow. They did a country song or some shit. Because he switched it up and went and started doing like country music there for a while.
Yeah,
he did that kind of crappy song that used the it basically bit the whole frickin' loop off of Sweet Home Alabama. And
I didn't know
like,
that.
yeah, and you know, and he's singing about smoking different things, and we were drinking different things, and playing Sweet Home Alabama. And I'm sitting here thinking, dude, you grew up in Detroit. You were hanging out playing Sweet Home Alabama. I mean,
Hey,
okay.
Sweet Home Alabama's for everybody.
I was gonna say
I
he
just-
could have been playing it. It doesn't mean much.
You know, I would respect him if he was. And now you got that guy who's out here rapping now. His name is like Jay something.
I mean, I'm not from Alabama, and I still hear that song a lot.
No, I'm saying that's a song for Southerners. That's not a song for Northerners.
I know, but I mean, I'm not from Alabama, but
It's
I'll
like
still hear that a
it's
lot.
like dear Northerners, I love you. I know we're brethren, but you don't get Leonard Skinner. Sorry, you lost your right to Skinner when you started talking shit. But and unfortunately, I can't think of too many bands from up north that I give a shit about, really. So
I don't know.
Boston's good, and I assume they're probably from Boston. Yeah, Boston's pretty good. Ramones. They're
Stilly
from New
Dan.
York. Stilly Dan, New York. So yeah. There are some music from up north that's pretty damn good. Well, I mean, John Bon Jovi, whether you
Stop.
like him or not, you got to respect the fact that the dude was dominant for like 2 decades.
I do kind of like Bon Jovi.
The thing I like the most about Bon Jovi is the song Cowboy.
Cowboy's pretty good.
When what's his name? Satriani or whatever gets his chance to actually kick into the lyrics, you know?
Eh.
Because or is it Centauri? Whoever it is, the guitarist. Yeah, because Bon Jovi will be like, I'm a cowboy, and you'll hear the guitarist,
Steel horse, I ride.
cowboy. And I'm like, get it, guitarist. You never get to sing, so now's your chance, boy. Throw it out there. Yep. Sweet Home Alabama was basically Leonard Skinner telling the Canadian, what's his name, to fuck himself.
Neil Young.
Because we hope Neil Young will remember that a Southern man don't need him around anyhow. Happy Monday, Daniel. Yeah.
I was wondering if you was going to stream today.
I was really in there
Just
reading
kind of a
and
late
wasn't paying attention, and my wife came in and was like, hey, you know it's Monday, right? And I was like, so? And she's like, this is the day you stream. And I was like, oh shit, it is, isn't it? Okay. So I got up and, ate a little something and got my drinks ready. Got
I'm
my
preparing
big
for
thing
my
of water
game.
and a
You got
monster.
a drink on.
I haven't had a monster in like 3 days. But I was over on Max Lau's channel Friday, I think. He had a couple guys on.
Yeah,
What?
I was just agreeing with you.
Oh,
I went in and lurked for a second. I didn't see you on Double D Wednesday.
no, I was killing it on Double D Wednesday, dude.
You must have logged on after I'd logged out.
That's true. That is true.
Dang it, I missed Double D's Wednesday stream. What
Hell
happened
yeah.
Wednesday?
I got a call out from Crazy Mouse.
Nice.
Well, because I donated some money, and I was like, this money's for Crazy Mouse. Because I feel like he's the rock of the show or something like that. And Crazy Mouse was like, thanks, man. It's nice to, because, hey, the way they do their show, because a lot of it's very scripted, or at least they use, PowerPoint like presentations, so they know what they're talking about exactly when, generally.
Yeah.
And Crazy Mouse is a huge part of that. And I mean, the fact that he shows up every time and he's running so much stuff behind the scenes, feel like he throw a little recognition his way.
Yeah, the mouse is always there.
That's what I'm saying. He's always there. He's always helping his bro out, and so that's a good guy. But on Max Lau's show, I was effing around with Max, telling him how much I liked his wife more than him. He agreed.
Hey, you leave our wife alone.
Yeah, Max agreed. He's like, I like her more than I like me too, man. I don't blame you.
Yeah, it's like she's cool.
Yeah. There was it got a little spicy there for a minute. There's a guy named Tim who I don't know from A Hole in the Wall, but he seems like a nice guy. And then there was Jade, who I've seen around, but I really don't know much about him. And Bear. And it was like, there for a minute, it seemed like they were getting ready to get into a shouting match or something. Bear said something, and Tim tried to say something, and somebody else said something. And you know me, I like to gossip. So they were using really big words, and I was like, damn, you guys are using really big words. What if some of us don't know those words, kind of joking? And Bear was like, being all mocking, like, oh, if you don't understand the big words. And I'm just like, prick, maybe? I don't know.
A prick.
Like, are you being a prick? Can't tell. Don't know. Don't want to assume, but buddy, let's not talk about who knows which big words. Oh, and the other day I also found out that everybody who keeps talking shit when I say there are no aliens and to stop worrying about it. Yeah, I'm totally validated. You guys are totally wrong, all of you. Anyone who doesn't agree with me about aliens, you are wrong. Just stop. Sorry, Star Trek is never happening. Well, that was weird.
Well, James.
Yeah, you start talking about aliens and your camera quit working. What's up with that, homie?
I'm having an issue with my camera. It might be dying.
It seems like you're having an issue with aliens.
It's either my camera. No, it's the camera or the computer. Because we were just talking, and then the computer screen went pure white, and that camera turned off. So,
now I want to get that checked out.
And this computer is super old, so when it dies, I will probably check it out by checking it out into the garbage can.
Yep.
Because it's about done all it could do. But yeah, so I've been studying up on some physics from a guy named Feynman, and he explains the inevitable loop of mass versus fuel, and how, according to anything we can even imagine, there is simply just no way to break that inevitable loop, and therefore there's no way to actually travel long distances in space. And it all has to do with mass and light speed. Now, right now, Hungar is probably falling asleep because this is not the kind of shit he cares anything about. See, he's asleep now.
To be fair, at least for fiction, we could make up reasons why we could get around it.
No, of course, you can still enjoy it, but, I've always been the one for the last however many years that's been saying, no, it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, well, it could happen. And I've always been like, no. So I went looking into actual physics, and there's a doctor who gives examples of why in the hell it will not happen. And one of the big ones is the mass and fuel bullshit. Because basically, if you want to send something anywhere in space, you got to have so much fuel, right? But the problem is when you add the fuel to the ship, it adds mass, right? And you know what that means, Hungar? Hey, Shadow.
Yeah, you gotta have enough mass. You can't have as much mass as you can. It's
No,
just not
you're
possible to
wrong.
have enough fuel to travel long distances at a certain amount of time for a certain amount of time on a
Okay, now
ship.
you're kind of right, but you're not right. The problem
I
is
don't
when
want.
you
I
add.
don't care if I'm right or not, though. It's like because I don't care about
Hey,
space
you don't
travel.
listen to me, bastard.
I am not neener.
You better listen, or I'll tell Mom to put you back behind the garbage can where we found you.
I do what I want.
Well,
I
I
love you,
posted
dude.
some of them on my Discord. I actually think I meant to add them at you because just to be like, see, I told you, not happening. No, the problem is the fuel adds mass. So every time you add fuel, you add mass, which means you got to add more fuel. You get
Yeah,
what
but
I'm
the fuel
saying?
burns off, and after you're going a certain amount of speed, then you ain't got to worry about
It
keep
doesn't matter
continued fueling because the
because you
object in
enter a
motion
death
will
loop.
remain in motion.
No, you enter a death loop where you can never have enough fuel to push the mass because every time you add the fuel, it ups the mass. So then you got up the fuel, but guess what? It ups the mass. It goes back and forth until you're fucked. He's got another really good video called Teleportation is Death.
Yeah.
Because if something completely like disassembles you and then sends you as like, some kind of radio signal or something, you're dead. What gets put together at the other end is not you.
No, how could it be you?
It's a simulacrum of you, but it's not you. Yeah, he's got a lot of yeah, that's the other thing too, which I should have mentioned. Shadow brings it up, Hungar. The faster you go, the heavier the object appears to be to space time. So the faster you try to go, the more mass. You see what I mean? So it's just this weird fucking unbreakable rule having to do with mass interacting with light speed and, space time. So even if there were aliens somewhere else, we'll never see them because he did some math, and apparently to move a starship from our orbit to Alpha Proxima would require the same amount of energy as the whole galaxy produces.
Yeah.
Which is just not probably going to happen. Like, hey, a billion stars worth of energy is what you need.
That was so.
Exactly. We were talking about that. It has something to do. See, I never heard of Fenneman until I was scrolling through and saw his videos and started watching them. Most of that I've been watching nothing but maybe Asmongold off and on. And speaking of things, Shadow, this is a 1 to 4 player card game / dice game hybrid. It's not a role playing game, it's more like a board game. And it is really fun and it only takes 30 minutes to play. I don't know if Jackie would like it, but he might. It's quick to play, it's a lot of fun. But,
Man, James, I think your computer's dying.
Why?
You just froze up there for a second while you were talking
He
about.
always freezes.
Yeah, that doesn't mean my computer's dying. That means that there could be a problem with the internet.
Possibly. But that one was a different type of freeze. It wasn't like the normal. It just stutters a bit.
Why are you doing what you're doing?
Just saying.
Cold Fusion The problem with cold fusion is it requires fuel, though. In order to create energy, the cold fusion has to have the water to fuse together to create the energy, and you end up with the same issue.
Yeah, anything that requires a fuel type system to travel long distances is not going to work.
Exactly. So the only real option would be some kind of propulsion unit that was zero mass.
Which is impossible.
Now that did happen, I think, in a book in the what was it called? Foundation in Earth. They had a starship that it moved by using gravity to pull it towards its target.
Yeah, but we all know
Somehow
how you
it
feel
like-
about gravity manipulation.
No. Creation, not manipulation. I do not believe that, and I stand by. There's no way you could ever create gravity. But what they're basically doing, the starship's basically doing, is the same thing as when they spin around the planet to like, up their speed by slingshotting in the gravity well. Except the engine in this thing didn't use fuel, but you could point it at a nearby gravity well and it would attract to that nearby and pull you through space at, extreme speeds.
I'm gonna make my
All right, Shadow. I can't believe you're even putting that in there. I mean, don't you know who you're talking to, man? I've been playing Traveler since you were knee-high to a grasshopper. I should have been Traveler since Haas was knee-high to a grasshopper, and he still is.
yeah, bitch.
Hey, what's your language, man? Come on.
They call me short,
You are short.
but you're short in real life.
You are short in real life. I know the reference, though. That was the key and pull when they
The slave auction.
slave auction and they bought everyone but key or pull, and they were getting all mad about it.
I can sleep in a bucket.
I'm
I know magic.
yeah, I'm
But one thing they say about me is docile. I'm a perfectionist.
incredibly docile. Yeah. No offense, brother, but what cotton are you gonna pick? Offense taken, They're getting all mad. Like when that one big dude, the muscled up dude, and Key and Peele are both like, well, come on now. You gotta buy that.
Yeah, they had to buy that guy. How they get him on the boat?
Yeah, one of them's even like, to be honest, I would have bought that guy. This is just like,
That's gobbledygook.
I was playing Traveler in '79. Well, okay. You know what that sounds like? You've been a nerd for a long, long time. Rats. I was being a cool kid in '79. And then I found role-playing games, and it went downhill from there. I stopped being a jock. I stopped going hunting and fishing as much. Started just wanting to hang out and play role-playing games with other nerds. Some of whom did not smell very good.
We call those people fragrant enthusiasts.
Right. It's like
Hopefully they were wearing pants.
the first time you take your girlfriend or your wife to a comic shop and you got to warn her about butt cracks and body odor. Just be warned.
There's gonna be butt cracks and body odor.
Yeah. And it's almost always the Magic players, because Magic players truly are the
The worst.
scum of the earth. In the hobby hierarchy, Magic players are the freaking bottom rung. Well, okay, card players, because Yu-Gi-Oh
Card
players
players, yeah.
count too. You know what I mean? As a matter of
I
fact,
think
the Yu-Gi-Oh players,
so.
the Yu-Gi-Oh players, though, they at least have an excuse since they're all like 10. But when you got a 40-year-old man that smells like a cat litter box and he's got his ass crack hanging out, it's like, dude, get yourself straightened out, man. That is
With your
100%
life.
a symptom of a mental issue,
Yeah.
you know? Because only someone who's like got some serious trauma would stop caring about their own personal hygiene. And unfortunately, at your average comic shop, most people don't even try to help those dudes. They just make fun of them until they go away. You know, sad. Born a nerd. I believe that. So I don't know if Shadow's been keeping up with the memes, but I am not letting him in the house. But apparently, I can break into his crypt whenever I want and beat him with a wooden spoon.
Yeah.
So
With a toilet brush and some kimchi.
yeah. Is that what that was? A toilet? But I saw the big jar of kimchi, and it was like,
And a toilet brush.
man, I was like, things are about to get uncomfortable or something. I opened my fresh jar of kimchi up the other day, and I had to put it in the sink real quick because it started.
Tobin?
Yeah. And
That's when you
so
know
I
it's
grabbed a
good.
piece and took a bite of it while it was still bubbling, and it tasted like carbonated kimchi.
That's when you know it's good.
Yeah, that's
Well,
when
I
you know it.
ordered like super fresh, actually fermented, not whatever. I like to put a big spoonful of it or a big chunk of it on top of my ramen.
I like it with my eggs, with ramen, with anything I'm eating.
Kimchi soup, never heard of it, George.
It's
But
good.
Yeah.
okay, there you go. But I was gonna say, but Hungar probably has. Because all he does, like when I visited Kentucky, one of the first things Hungar did is take me to the Asian store and drop a shit ton of money on Asian food.
It's good and good for you.
The Asian grocery mart. Yeah.
Well, I'm going to bounce out and make myself something to eat for dinner.
See ya, Hungar.
All right, bro.
It was good to see you, my brother. I hope you had fun this weekend. Tell the
I had
monster
a blast.
I said hi and I love her.
I will. She's watching. She's watching like season 2 of Wednesday Addams or something.
I gave up on Netflix.
Yeah, her sister turned it on.
Yeah. All right, well, I love you, brother.
Yeah, I know.
Bye.
Bye. Boom. Stuck up the garage for a year. I knew a guy whose mom was Korean, and she would actually make kimchi, and she would take it like the pot. She had this big like clay pot or whatever she made it in, and she would take it out in her yard and bury it, and then leave it buried in the ground for like I don't know a month or so, and then dig it up, and it that's what that's what she ate.
Hey, James, talking about memes, what'd you think about the Amish meme I posted?
Yeah. Yeah, that Amish guy totally ripped that dude, didn't he?
Yeah. uh,
Don't worry, your mom sends me pics through the mail. Like, damn, that Amish guy is brutal, man.
I know.
Like, well, you gotta be like that. And it's like the kid wasn't even like making fun of him or anything. He's just
No.
like asking about internet. The only real thing I can say that I've fermented really, George, is ginger beer. I used to make ginger beer all the time before, I was told I shouldn't be drinking a lot of ginger beer, right? And the recipe for it is easy. It doesn't really require too much to do. And if you like a really stiff ginger flavored drink, it's great. And if that's not your thing, but you like Moscow mules and dark and stormies and various other cocktails, well, you know, the ginger beer is part of those cocktails. So being able to make it and have it around will save you a little money. But all you need to make ginger beer is a little yeast, sugar, and a chunk of ginger, and that's it. And 3 days about. And if you want to be high tech like I was, you get yourself a gallon sized glass jar with a bubbler, which is, an automatic gas release thing. And, you know, then it's super easy because you don't have to worry about it overheating and exploding in the garage. But I mean, like everything I do, I went all out with it. So, like, I actually bought bottles and the whole 9 yards. So, when I was making my ginger beer, I'd make a gallon of it, bottle it, put the bottles in the fridge, which stops the fermentation, and then start with another batch. So, sometimes I might have 12 bottles of the stuff laying about. I changed this guy's sword, but I kind of dig him. I don't know what he's supposed to be. He's got antlers. He's got a big two-handed scimitar thing. Yep. And the thing with the ginger beer is the longer you leave it, the more alcoholic it gets. Your butt has a gas release. It's a good thing, too, because there's a YouTube video by some doctor explaining that if you didn't fart, you would explode and die. It turns out that's a very necessary function for human existence. So, okay. Got this freaky looking, I don't know what she's supposed to be. She's got a big horned helmet.
A demon.
No, I think that this is somebody's fantastical view of a Viking woman.
Ah,
So she's got like a giant, like opera helmet. I gotta get up. I didn't turn the fan on, and it's already gotten kind of warm down here these days.
we're still waiting for it to become warm here. Still kind of chilly.
Oh, there we go.
Oh,
The other gift that my sister-in-law got me was the Battle for Hoth box set.
pedal for all time. That sounds
Huh?
cool.
Well, I mean, if you've ever played like Memoir 44 or any of those kind of games, it uses those rules, but it's Star Wars.
George is getting to DM a new game.
A new game of what?
He didn't say, it just says a new game for his family and friends.
Yeah, I mean, I just asked him. Like, is it a new game that he's never played before, or is it just a new campaign he's starting of a game? You know what I mean? That could go a lot of ways.
My yesterday game went a little weird. Mostly good at first, but then a little bit bad at the end.
Uh, you know, that's the way life is, right?
Yeah, one of the players did not want to play. Apparently, it was just getting upset that they didn't have anything to do.
I'm confused by what you said. They didn't want to play, so they were mad.
It seems like it because DM would give them options, and then she would do nothing and then get upset.
Yeah, it's sad that a lot of players need to be handheld through adventure.
Yeah, I know.
Like, that's a fine balance you got to strike as a player. Is you got to learn to recognize when the DM's throwing you the hook and to take it, because otherwise, you end up pissing the DM off if every time he throws you an adventure hook and you're like, nah, I ain't doing that shit. But at the same time, you got to keep it in your back pocket that you can actually go rogue sometimes and just do your own shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a lot of players out there who seem to not understand that. You know what I mean?
I know.
It's like, is there anything your character wants to do? You're in town. You know what I mean?
Yep.
See, my group isn't that way. They're the opposite. They're the always wanting to go all the time.
Oh boy.
Playing Eberron with 5e. All right.
Me and one of the other players though got into a big fight at night.
You did?
Me and a buddy, one of the other players, we got into like a
In game or out again?
in game. It was like an in game fight. I was actually being tailed by like this Inquisition group, and yeah, it turned out that they were, kind of following me, and so we got into a fight, and I got really lucky in that fight because I was able to get the first attack and nearly kill the head Inquisitor pretty fast.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, but there was like 5 of them and 2 of us, so it was not a fight we could really win normally. But we did get out of it with, I'd say, luck, because, well, my friend, he wasn't doing as good, although he did take a lot of attacks, but he was pretty hurt, while I only suffered 2 wounds. So
Nice.
I kind of got off very lightly. That's with enemies attacking me constantly too. The DM just never was hitting for anything unless it was on our side, because he actually had like an NPC character come out and fight with us, but at least fight on our side or at least something like that, and was just devastating, destroying some of these NPC guards.
Huh.
Well, if it's one of his NPCs attacked me, and miss, and he's like, why? I don't know. All rolled out in the open.
Was that
too.
Bubba or someone else?
That was my Brazilian friend, his game, the White Wolf campaign. Bubba's game's tonight, and I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Last game I did get to survive a save versus die trap.
Yeah, it's good when you survive those.
Yeah, that's the only way he's probably going to kill me at this point.
You shouldn't have said that.
I'm going to be honest. That's the best way to probably kill me. It's the easiest.
Yeah, you shouldn't have said it.
It's pretty easy to kill me that way too.
Yeah, you keep saying that, and I keep saying you shouldn't say that.
Probably shouldn't.
I mean, save versus death is the easiest way, obviously, to kill about anything if they fail to save.
Yep.
but now you're jinxing yourself, and you're going to end up dying by something that's not a saber stat. Like a couple trolls are going to jump you and just beat you to death, and there won't be shit you can do about it.
You might be right. I'm not invincible to attacks.
I don't know. You're acting like you were.
It's very hard to hit me, but you could still do it.
It's not hard to hit you if you're a troll.
Even the troll might have an
Trolls
issue
have a
with
pretty
now.
good attack bonus, and they get 3 attacks.
Uh,
So 3 trolls jump you. That means you're getting 9 attacks, and they have okay attack bonuses. But one of them is going to get extra bonuses for being behind you,
oh, that is true, and I wouldn't have my shield.
because you won't be able to use your shield on one
Yeah,
either.
DM's also talked about that, where I think you also get like a +2 and no shield bonus for being attacked from behind.
Right.
So yeah, that would be an issue there.
Mm-hmm.
But hey, if they're from the front, I get like a at max like -6 AC.
Yeah, but you know what the problem is? I said 3 of them. You can't be attacked by 3 trolls from the front
No,
because of how much room they take up.
true. Yeah.
So that means you're eating it. You're going to eat it. The troll, there's going to be at least 1 troll behind you, and probably 1 flanking. And depending on which rule set you're using, that means they're both getting bonuses to hit.
Yep, that is true. Also,
Doing a homemade story in Eberron. What I know about Eberron is from playing DDO, and I didn't really. I mean, I don't know why I didn't jive with it that much. It was like, it's not because there was technology and robots and shit, because I love Shadowrun. And Hyperborea has all kinds of weird shit in it too, like technology from ancient ages and blah, blah, blah. But there was just something about Eberron that I just couldn't get behind, you know? It was like, can't really put my finger on it, but yeah, there was something about it that I just didn't much care for.
okay, yeah. So I still got like almost just about 2 hours before my game.
Uh-huh. Cool. Well, yeah. Now that I think about it, though, I have to admit, I was not a fan of the war machines, the Warforged.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of Aberon either.
Huge fan of them. But otherwise, I mean, you know, I can't even tell you why I didn't like it. There was something about it that I was just like, I don't think I care for this.
I just think it was a bad way to bring it in. I mean, I don't know. The Magitech, I guess, it was a little bit weird. I don't know. I'm probably
I'll tell you this though, I love the Artificer class.
Artificer, yeah.
Yeah, that guy. The whole time I was playing, well, for the most of the time that I was playing DDO, I was playing a human artificer, running around with a robot dog and a rapid fire freaking crossbow, just jacking shit up. I was the guy that was like, oh, the people who made this game had this dungeon that they thought was balanced. Well, I'm here to tell them no. Pretty much.
Not balanced anymore. I'm here.
Yeah, it's not balanced anymore. I am here.
Makes me think of the Arcade, problems with archers in the dungeons.
Yeah.
Because archers had a little bit of a glitch fest on those dungeons sometimes.
Arcade was just a bad game, man.
Yeah, true.
It was a Korean game that they localized for America, and I don't know why. So like every time we got, because you played Arcade too,
Yeah.
right? Every time we got a patch, we were like a year and a half behind
Yeah.
the Korean servers, which we couldn't join. So it was like, I don't know why they didn't just release it with, at that, board set, you know what I mean?
Who knows? It's just
And just be like, all right, this is a game, and everything that's already been added has already been added. So there's no reason to drip it out over time. You were enjoying the lore of Eberron?
if I mean, I have nothing really
I
against
would say somebody has to enjoy
it. Yeah.
it.
I just don't think it was for me.
But when it came out, like I looked at it and I thought, yeah, this is terrible. And I just kept playing my homebrew campaign, which I'm a huge fan
Yeah, a
of.
lot of my friends just make their own homebrew game worlds, and we play in that.
Yep.
Like our current one that I was talking about, that one that's basically we're in a fictional version of Russia.
There's a lot of that going around these days. When I formed the Kaliningrad campaign originally, it was probably 15 years ago. And I've got my blue folder around here. I've showed it off a number of times. That's got all where I actually created the Slavic monsters for basic D&D. And it had all the maps in it about the empire and the rest of the world, the cultures and all that. The empire is, basically the Imperial Russia. But see, in my game, as the game was going on, because it went on for so long, there was a regency issue. Oh yeah, good idea, bro. Because that did happen one time. Yep, you're 100% right. That'll be better.
Gosh,
The
that
game
is a lot better.
along that eventually there was a regency issue because the Tsar died, and the only surviving child he had that could become the next Tsar, or Tsarina in this case, was like a 10-year-old girl. And so the Grand Dukes, there were three of them. Basically, one of the Grand Dukes decided he should be the regent ruler until the Tsarina was of age, and the other two did not agree. And it started a three-way civil war in the middle of the empire. And then when that happened, the monsters from the Razor-Tooth Mountains, which separates the empire from the lands to the south, started just running amok because, the imperial troops were all too busy killing each other and burning down their own villages. So no one was actually patrolling the roads and manning the gatehouses and the toll houses and all that sort of thing. And that's when we ended. The players, actually, the Castellan of the Keep on the Borderland, who in my Kaliningrad campaign was Joseph Stolzenow, had got captured by the Grand Duke of the West, and the adventurers were riding hard to the scene of the battle to see if he had died or if it were possible that they could rescue him from being captured. Maybe one of these days in the far, far future, we'll go back to that campaign. But I was using OSE advanced rules for that, I think I started out using Labyrinth Lord, and then eventually I After years and years and years of Labyrinth Lord, I switched to OSC Advanced. So that's a thing that happened. Mother Russia by Sisters of Mercy. I think Mother Russia by Iron Maiden. Mother Russia, land of the czars. Hold up your head, remember who you are. Yeah. Can you be happy now your people are free? Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. That I think was off of one of Iron Maiden's later albums, though. But anyway.
And, for my cleric, I really like that I can fly. So, my movement's not just 20. It's 20 or 60 if I fly.
Yep. Flying's a good ability.
Yep.
See, when you're playing the game with your Brazilian friend, the next time you're in town and he asks what you want to do, you should tell him that you're going to go to the barber's to get a Brazilian, because your dwarf character or whatever he is really loves to have a shorn scrotum. There's nothing quite like a cleanly shaved scrotum. You could give him the whole Dr. Evil speech about it.
Yeah.
Nah. You won't do that.
No. Well, but
because you're a sissy man.
Or maybe I'd find other ways to just be weird.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that.
Look, if I want to mess with my DM, I'll just turn his game into another Godfather.
Hey now, sing this corrosion to me. That's not. Oh, I think that is Sisters of Mercy. That's not Joy Division. Lucretia,
what's more
my sister or whatever.
What's more fun than just completely changing an entire campaign to something crazy because you did one thing?
Do you think getting your balls shaved would run the whole campaign?
No, but that's just weird.
Is it though?
Yeah, a little bit. In a game, yeah, I would see that as a little weird.
See, because every time I turn YouTube on, they're always trying to sell me the Man Trimmer 10,000 or something. I'm always sitting here being like, I don't really want to shave my balls, but these guys are telling me that it's all the rage,
They do. I don't know.
And the other thing I get commercials for, which kind of pisses me off a little bit, is hymns. Because I'm like, I don't know who you talking to, but I don't need that shit. So stop trying to tell me I need it, right?
But I find the whole, doing the personal grooming thing in a game kind of weird to me.
But what if your dwarf was just obsessed with making sure that you had a nice shorn scrotum?
Fair, I guess.
See, if you were playing Warhammer, you would care, because in Warhammer fantasy roleplay, you can get lice and shit. So the idea of shaving your body hair is a pretty good idea, because lice won't stay on your body hair if it's not there. They need it to be there, right?
Yeah.
And if you have lice, then your character suffers penalties to all kinds of shit, because, they're being ate alive by little monsters, basically.
Little parasites.
Right. So in that case, you could make a good argument for a shorn scrotum.
Yeah.
Because the last thing you would want is a bunch of lice taking up habitation of your crotchal region,
that would probably give you huge penalties to your attack rolls and stuff. Like you're walking through a dungeon just scratching away. Everyone else in the party's watching you and you're just constantly digging down your pants. Be like, damn, bro. Come on, man.
And then one of the other characters just goes out in a spiel on Manscaped.
Well, what I would wonder in that situation, if it ever came up, is isn't there a mage spell that if you cast it, it like totally cleans your body and your clothes and everything?
In 5th edition, there is called Prestidigitation.
Yeah, but no, there's an actual not 5th edition spell that's supposed to completely clean your robes and your body and everything.
I'm fair. I don't know what it is. I mean, I'm sad that I never got to play some of those older editions.
That's okay. Don't be sad. The point I'm making, though, is that I wonder if that would get rid of lice. See, D&D is such an adventure game.
Wouldn't it make it worse then, actually, if it cleans it? It doesn't get rid of the lice, so it would actually make it better because clean hair is actually more...
No, because if it cleans you of filth and parasites.
Oh, okay. It cleans you of parasites, and yes, it should get rid of the parasites.
It doesn't say that. It just says it makes you perfectly clean. So your argument is, so now you got clean lice on your clean hair.
Just the clean hair, which
my argument is
better breeding ground for lice
and returned you to, a fresh state of being a human.
Then it gets rid of the lice. But it depends.
See, D&D never worries about that kind of shit.
Yeah.
Warhammer, that is the game.
Fair.
The Warhammer Fantasy role-playing game is basically blood and poop and lice. The adventure, And, I ran it a lot, every edition except for 3rd. And I have every edition except for 3rd. But yeah, that's a game where if you have to make a fear check, because monsters can cause fear, and if you fumble it bad enough, you can literally just poop yourself.
You know what, Paul? I would definitely waste a spell slot for it to be clean.
Well, that's why I was asking exactly how clean does it get you?
I know.
If it gets rid of lice and other things that you don't want on you, crabs or whatever, then it's definitely worthwhile. Like one day when you're in town, I'm not saying never take a shower, but one day when you're in town, just memorize that spell and pop it off, because I think it repairs your garments too or something. I'm not sure.
In 5th edition, they made that another spell because you have to use mend.
Yeah. Mend fixed like all the little things, so it would darn your socks and everything like that.
Yep.
Yeah, neckbeard. Yeah, well, it depends, Paul, if they're magic players or not. Because if they're magic players, there's no damn way they're spending anything on a spell to make them clean. Sometimes I wonder if these magic players are playing like this game of psychology. Because like Miyamoto Musashi never bathed. And the reason he didn't bathe is so that when he got into a duel with an enemy samurai, his stench would distract the enemy samurai, right?
Yeah.
Well, I wonder if some magic players are trying to live that,
that lifestyle.
Book of the 5 rings bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Damn it. They're all like, I'm going to be like Miyamoto Musashi. I'm going to stink so bad that whenever my opponent sits across from me, I'm so stinky that I distract them so bad they can't even, they'll skip laying lands and all kinds of shit.
Joke's on them. They both stink so bad it doesn't affect either of them.
See, that's the problem. If 2 of these jokers meet, and then it's like, I don't know if you know this, but lemurs, that's how they settle conflicts within their family groups.
Who
They
smells the
run
worst?
up and wave their tail at each other, right? And whoever's tail stinks the most wins. That is how a striped lemur settles an issue. Yep. The stinkiest lemur wins. But Paul, I put the thing in there if you wanted to hop in. You don't got to, but you know, you're welcome to. I'm sitting here being regaled by Let's tells of his games. I already said what happened in my game, so we'll see next time we play
Yeah, well,
whether they
can't wait to
live
see.
or die.
We're still in the middle of that dungeon, that one pink rose quartz one.
Yeah, they're in the middle of an adventure, but they're at the very last part of it. So
We're finally getting through a lot of it, although we found a door we couldn't open.
Hmm.
It was locked, and even Knock wouldn't open it.
wow, must have had a high level wizard lock on it.
Yeah.
Or maybe it was a fake door too. That's the thing.
Oh yeah, maybe. We're thinking that might need some kind of key.
Imagine you walk up and you're like trying to open this door and just banging on it and hitting it with axes and shit. And it's just like the facade of a door bolted into the wall behind it. It's not behind it. And you're just sitting there making all this racket, like attracting every monster in the dungeon to come have a look at what in the hell is going on.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to go though. Dinner's ready. I'm gonna get ready for the game. I'll see ya.
Yeah. So, yeah. I have found this speed paint Ruddy Fur is such a good color. I actually like it a lot. And based on Shadow's recommendation, I ordered some, I think it's aged honey or whatever. And that was just based on Shadow saying it was a good color. So if it's a bad color, I'll be like, Shadow, you lied. I'm sure it won't be a bad color, though. I need to, at some point, go out in the garage and start cracking some boxes and find out where I put my picks. Because the archers are still up in the miniature display case, but the actual warriors, I don't know where they are. And I remember they were in a box. I remember what the box looked like, you know, based on the lid and everything. So that's a thing that's going to have to happen at some point. Because I feel like I need to keep the picks handy for the current game, since in one of the adventures, picks feature pretty heavily in it. But I've mostly been running pre-written adventures, but I change them so much that, you know, no one would know. So wild that you got this like female gladiator and she's wearing high heels. It's like, damn, man. And I'm not one of those guys that bitches about, like, you know, pinup style miniatures. As a matter of fact, I'm a huge fan of them, but I just can't imagine why this lady who is a gladiator would want to go out in the middle of a sandy arena with a pair of spike heels on. That just seems like that would put her at a huge disadvantage. What's up, Nerdy Ogre? How you doing? Okay, now to find a color to do her headdress. And of course, I always want to pick red, but I've already picked red a couple of times. So maybe I'll do a purple. Yeah, something different. Negros Brillante. No, not gloss black. Come on. Not gold. Got enough of gold. Put that up there right now. So, I don't know what you guys want to chat about. I'm sitting here painting miniatures. I have opinions, but most of them are probably wrong. No, we're not doing green. Not really wanting green. No. Black Lotus. Oh yeah. Stygian, the best. Wonder where Shadow went. Popped up, talked some shit, and just jetted out. Yeah, I think I'm going to do this title blue. Okay. I think I'm going to have to grab a thingamabob and clear the nozzle because it must have dried in the nozzle. There we go. Yeah, I wasn't really talking about either of them. The last time I talked about religion, it was about Hyperborean religion, which is a weird combination of very open-minded and very not open-minded, I guess. It's definitely something. I think the main thing about Hyperborean religion is the fact that very few of the gods are what anyone would consider good. I mean, quite a few of them are just neutral, and then there's a huge chunk of them that are just straight up evil. Like, no matter how you look at it, they're just evil, you know. And the vast majority of them are all accepted in a lot of the major cities, you know. Except one of the players in my group is worshiping one of the deities that is not allowed be openly worshipped. And then there is kind of a religious war between the followers of Yandala and the followers of the Sagua. And Yandala is just a code name for Shub-Niggurath or Niggurath, however you say it. The old fertility goddess from H.P. Lovecraft. But then again, in Hyperborea, a lot of the gods are like code for some other deity. It's like Helios is some Greek god, and then the god of bloodshed and murder is actually Ares by another name. The god of thieves is Hermes. The Vikings all worship the Norse pantheon, except for Odin, because apparently the king of Vikland, which is the capital where most of the Vikings live, has a hate on for Odin. So anyone that they catch worshiping Odin, they dump off on these barren rocks in the middle of the sea and leave them there. So there is a very small community of Odin worshippers just barely hanging on, by a toenail, but mostly they worship the Norse version of Kronos, the ice giant. So my brother's cleric is a worshiper of Tasagwa, which is a giant toad frog bat thing that lives deep under the ground and waits for people to come up near it so that it can eat them. That's like its whole gig, because it's so lazy. It doesn't actually hunt. It just waits for things to wander into the cavern where it's sitting, and then it eats them. Mm-hmm. But yeah, after they're done with the adventure they're on now, they're probably going to be heading to the city of Zimbala, which is in the desert wastes, a bit north of where they currently are. Who's the god of jock itch? I'm sure there's one of them. I mean, there are tons of gods of like diseases and stuff. So you could probably have your choice on that one. But the majority of the gods of Hyperborea, the majority of them are just Greek gods under another name. And then the rest of them are Lovecraftian or entities created by Charles C.A. Smith or whatever. Yeah. Whatever it is, like that. Yeah. Which means that they aren't actually even really gods. They're just ultra powerful beings from, somewhere else. Like the Sagwa originated somewhere outside of our universe and then moved to Saturn, where he lived for a very long time, and then ended up moving from Saturn to Earth, and then from Earth to Hyperborea. So, yeah. Too much caffeine, not enough sleep. Yeah, they're playing Don't Fear the Reaper on cello. But yeah, because of the nature of some of the deities in the game, the concepts of like, are the players good or evil, get a little fuzzy sometimes, as they should, though. I mean, the one character is playing an assassin, so and her alignment is neutral, but honestly, it's probably neutral with evil tendencies, which I didn't see in the core books, but in one of the adventures that Talanian put out for Hyperborea, all of the NPCs have if they're neutral, they have the dash G or E, like people used to do a long time ago in AD&D, when people would be like, they talk about whether they were neutral but with good tendencies, or in basic D&D, that was a thing. Some people would do where they would say, my character is lawful and with good tendencies. And then, of course, later on in AD&D, you just had lawful good. So it was, I guess, an evolution of how things were done, really. So, tell you what, though, if I had to pick a deity to be like the deity of Jock Itch, I think I would pick like a deity of misfortune. Like, because having a really bad case of Jock Itch, like, really start aggravating you in the middle of combat, that could be very unfortunate. A DM could assign you all kinds of penalties. And tell you what, though, if you were the kind of DM that cared about such things, not saying that anybody is, but if you were the kind of DM that cared about whether your players took their armor off at night when they went to sleep and stuff like that, you could definitely inflict some misfortune on the player characters if they insisted on sleeping in their armor. I mean, especially actually any armor, because if they're wearing mel or heavier, then you can assume they have a cotton gambeson underneath that. And padded armor is simply just a cotton gambeson. And all the heavier armor has to have a gambeson under it, or else you'll just rip yourself apart wearing it. I've got a scar on my back where I got an armor bite in the SCA because I wasn't wearing the proper padded armor underneath the armor I was wearing. And I got hit in just the right fashion that a chunk of my back meat got caught between two armored plates, and the armor plates closed in like a pair of scissors and just snipped a bit of me off. And at first I didn't really even know it was happening. And then later, when I took my armor off and the red shirt I was wearing underneath it, I had like, my whole back was just like dried blood everywhere. So, and if you're in the SCA and you want to wear chainmail, which is a great option, always wear a nice gambeson underneath it, because chainmail does F all against somebody with a stick. If you don't have good padding under that chainmail, somebody hits you, they're just going to tattoo that armor pattern right into your skin. Not great. And if I were going for Mel, depending on the culture I was trying to represent, if I was trying to represent like the Northmen or something, I'd make sure to have like almost like a weightlifter's belt, big thick leather belt, maybe rivet some plates on it. Because I'll tell you what, you want to protect those kidneys, those kidney ronies, because I've known people who've been smacked in the side back so hard that they literally pissed their groin protection full of blood. It's not good. You don't want to do that. So the last set of armor I wore in the SCA was Wisby plate, which D&D calls Brigandine. Yeah. And Brigandine is basically just hard pieces of something riveted to the inside of a leather coat. And it's not always necessarily steel or iron or even bronze. Sometimes they found it where they've used bone, all kinds of different things. Just whatever they had, either riveted or stitched in. So an example of what I'm talking about would be if you ever watch the Mel Gibson Braveheart, the armor he's wearing with all the rivets, and you can see the square bits, that's Wisby plate. And some people will put 2 layers. They'll sandwich the metal plates between 2 layers of leather. I don't know, Nerdy Ogre. Hyperborea only has 5 alignments. You're either lawful good, lawful evil, chaotic good, chaotic evil, or neutral. And neutral doesn't mean you're a tree-hugging hippie that's trying to keep neutrality with nature and shit like that. Neutral means that you look out for yourself. Like in any situation, your first thought will be, how will this affect me? Right? So like if you see an old lady getting beat up in the middle of the street and robbed, whether you decide to go help her or not will 100% depend on how you think it's going to affect your life. If you think that it could get you killed, you're not going to do it. If you think that it could get you a reward, well, then you might. It's just, I would say neutral, as they describe it, as your average human. They're not really worried about most things. They're mostly just worried about feeding the kids and whatever they're doing, taking care of their lives. And the other alignments are just what you think they are. If somebody's chaotic evil, it is what it is. They're just evil, and they don't believe in laws or anything. They're just evil. They're selfish. They'll do whatever they can get away with, right? Whereas a lawful evil guy could, in theory, be a stickler for the law, but then I would say lawful evil in the real world would be the people that work at the DMV. You know what I mean? And the reason they're lawful evil isn't because they're necessarily out there doing evil things, but because they've become so jaded with how the system works that whatever humanity or goodness they ever had in their hearts has long since vanished. And they don't care if it F's you up or not. They're going to obey the rules no matter what. Even if they could do one little thing to help you out, they're not going to do it. Because, that's their thing. Lawful evil could also be like some kind of professional killer or warrior or something like that, Like Warduke, I think, is chaotic because he's basic D&D. But the only reason Warduke and Strongheart stopped being friends is when they touched the gemstone of whatever it was. It brought out their innermost selves. Everyone thought that Warduke was a hero. But it turned out he wasn't a hero. He just really, really enjoyed killing things. And, if that meant joining a group and going into dungeons and murdering everything in the dungeon, he'd do it. But he wasn't doing it for any sort of sense of helping society or anything. He was just killing the orcs and goblins because he wanted to kill them. He, like they say, the kind of guy that sticks a knife in you and then wants to watch as the life leaves your eyes, that kind of shit. And when his true nature was revealed, then all of a sudden, they're like, oh shit, But that's the thing. As a lawful good character, Warduke, that could absolutely have been Warduke, One of my favorite gods from, I think, Greyhawk is Hexter. And his brother is Heronius, lawful good and lawful evil. I really enjoy playing like a fighter or cleric of Hexter. But generally, I don't go for lawful evil. I go for like lawful neutral because you can. And the reason I enjoy it is because you're basically playing a warrior who believes ultimately that might makes right. And that is the law. That is just it. There's nothing else. The whole universe is decided by pure strength of arms and nothing else, right? And while some people may disagree with this, and if Shadow was here, I'm sure he could yell at me, but I think he's got a game today. Based on Conan's philosophy, he would be probably lawful evil. Probably. He wouldn't be chaotic evil because, he did, most of the time follow certain rules and stuff. But Conan's deepest down inside philosophy was that might made right and strength ruled everything. And if you weren't strong enough to hold your property, then you didn't deserve to have it. And apparently that's just how the Sumerians were, like as a culture, If one Sumerian had something that another Sumerian wanted, they would, that Sumerian would just challenge the other one to fight for it. And then you would end up with one guy who got what he wanted and one guy who was dead. And that's pretty much how they did their stuff. Now, I'm sure luckily for their entire people group, most of them weren't just running around dueling everybody to the death nonstop. But that was part of the culture, So if you rolled into a village and some dude had a woman that you wanted, you could literally challenge him to a duel, kill his ass, and take his woman. Now, the cascading events of doing such a thing, that's where a DM would probably screw you over because the warrior you killed, he might have a bunch of brothers. The woman you took, she might have a family. And the next thing you know, you wanted this hot redheaded Sumerian chick, and now you've got like 40 guys tracking you down, fully intent on skinning you alive. Right? Because another thing that the Sumerians were known for is vendettas and feuds. That was like a whole thing, So I don't know. Maybe not evil now that I think about Conan. But he definitely had zero respect for civilization at all. He viewed civilization as being even more wicked than barbarism. Because in his view, barbarism, at least everybody involved knew what was up. But in civilization, instead of somebody challenging you to a duel to take your stuff, some merchant pays somebody some gold to poison you. And that was something that Conan recognized and was not a fan of, which is why the whole time he ruled Aquilonia, he rarely slept in the bed that they had for the king. And he always had his sword within reach because, he never ate like the good, luxurious food like you would think a king would eat. He always ate like the same simple rations they fed the soldiers because he was so wary of himself allowing civilized living to make him soft and lead to his death, right? So he did everything he could to make sure he was always tip top, ready to go. Like in the Phoenix on the Blade, some merchants hired a bunch of guys to kill him. And that's part of that story is how he's talking about, like 5 or 6 of them came at him in the night and he jumped out of the bed with his sword and he killed them all. But one of the things I was reading, they're talking about the number of times people tried to assassinate Conan, and it was an astronomical number. I mean, it was a lot. A lot of people tried to kill that dude. But, well, not much going on. I assume other people are streaming or something, so I will probably shut down the stream a little bit and go take care of stuff I don't want to talk about. And yeah. Well, damn it, Paul. You're just joining to be mean now. I hit the button. What the hell happened?
I knew it was going to happen. I was like, as soon as I sit down, he's going to be like, well, I guess it's dinner time. And I was like, oh, shit. Now, because I was sitting there making fun of neckbeards, and I just realized, like, I spent most of the day cleaning since it's been in, like, the high 50s up here, which is practically summertime in Chicago.
Nice. Yeah, 50 is a good temperature to do stuff.
The cops are out. The crimes are going. It's a beautiful day.
Right. Beautiful day in the neighborhood. No, I was actually sitting here and I was thinking, well, not much is going on. And that lo mein I ate earlier is really starting to do a number on me. Oh, I didn't want to say, I kind of feel like I need to take a shit.
Yeah. Hey, audience at home, I got to drop a deuce.
Yeah, as soon as I start talking about, I might have to close this up and go take care of some stuff I don't want to talk about. You're like, peek.
Yep.
Like, that's why I said, damn it, you're just joining out of meanness at this point.
Now you got to hold it in
for a minute or two. But unfortunately, I really, unless you want to sit there by yourself, I definitely.
No, if this is something that's brewing, that sounds like you're gonna maybe bust out the newspaper and relax for a while, So
well, I actually have the new Arkham guidebook, which they had put the Arkham guidebook out for like earlier editions of Call of Cthulhu, but they just printed it for 7th edition. Okay, and my wife bought it for me for Valentine's Day, which was
there you go. Nice.
Man. Yeah, she got $100 box of chocolate.
Yeah.
I'm like still flabbergasted that any kind of candy could for 30 pieces.
Yeah.
That's like $3 and change per piece.
Yeah.
Like that better be the best damn chocolate that ever chocolated because
That's like that those Dubai chocolate bars that look like they're stuffed with clipped grass that they try to sell for like $20 each. You're
Yeah.
like, what the hell is this? Why should I be eating this?
We've got a local ice cream shop called Pops, and they do like all the different ice cream, and they make the waffles on site. So like you can go in there and for like, I don't know, $6 or $7, you can just buy a waffle with butter and syrup on it.
Mm-hmm.
Or you can get an actual waffle cone or whatever with ice cream in it.
Right.
And one of the things they sell, and you brought it up, and it, jogged my memory, is they've got this Dubai chocolate. And I'm like, okay, I know what Dubai is and
Right.
where it is, and I know what chocolate is, but I'm not sure I know what makes chocolate Dubai chocolate. Like,
Right.
do they put like some camel poop in it or something? I'm not, no, that would be
It's,
Mumbai chocolate seasoned with cow poop.
yeah. Oh God. I was gonna say it was made by Indonesian slave labor. That's what it is. That's why it's Dubai chocolate.
Yeah.
They guarantee they took all their passports away and made the chocolate with misery.
Yeah. It's flavored with misery from little Asian people that have to live in like those cargo containers with no air conditioning or anything.
I love that. I forgot what I saw that on. They were doing, I think it was maybe like a report on how they were making the Burj Dubai. And they had those guys like, it was just a cargo container, and they took 4x4s and just drilled them together to make bunks. And they're like, here you go. This is how you're going to live until this is done.
Yep. They had hired like a bunch of Bangladesh and Filipinos and Indonesians and whatever, and just had them all.
Yep.
And they couldn't go away because they took their passport like right off the bat.
Yeah.
Like,
classy folks.
It's like, hey, and these are the people that'll bitch about European colonialism, and they're over here committing straight up slavery.
Sure. Hey, that's Christian guilt. That's easy to exploit.
It is.
People think, oh my God, what did we do? And they just have to remind you every time, and they go,
but
see what you guys did?
Yeah. I was showing off that game, Escape the Dark Castle. It's a really cool game, where you like the dungeon is made up of so many cards in a deck that are randomized.
Okay.
And then as you flip cards, that's rooms you're entering as you try to escape the dungeon. And if there's monsters, then it'll show you the strength and how much damage they do. And then you and the rest of the adventurers roll dice versus the monster's dice to see if you can kill it. And depending on the character you pick, that determines what attribute they're really good at. So there's like wisdom, might, and cunning. And you never know, some monsters might need a shit ton of cunning, and if everyone picked like the fighter type with high wisdom and low cunning, you're gonna have problems. So like,
okay, yeah, I've seen these guys. Yeah, these are the same guys that do the sci-fi one, the Escape from the Dark Sector. It's all black and white.
An Escape from and they have some expansions for it.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, I played the game 3 times.
How'd you do?
Yesterday. That's how fun it was. I mean, my sister-in-law gave it to me. It takes 2 minutes to set up and 30 minutes max to play.
There you go. That's nice.
And we, the last game we played, we sat down and we're like, okay, look, only take characters that complement each other's characters. And we made sure that one of us had maxed out one of the attributes.
Yeah.
And then the fourth person picked one of them that had like the first and second attribute were both filling in gaps,
Mm-hmm.
And we ran through that in like 15 minutes. Like no one was even under 10 hit points, and you start with 12.
Yeah.
So basically, I mean, without playing it, you might not get everything I'm saying, but we kicked its ass.
Yeah.
And it all had to do with the fact that we picked the right characters and did everything the right way. And like at one point, we found a double-handed axe, and they gave it to me because my character was had the highest might.
Mm-hmm.
And the double-handed axe allows you to roll 2 dice for damage and still 1. So, and if you roll double might, which I'm more likely to do, 2 and 6, then it does like some other shit too. You know what I mean?
Sure.
But yeah, I don't know how much the game cost or anything. It was a gift, but it was super fun, man. It's a game for people who don't want to play D&D,
Yeah.
but you sit them around the table and play this. Kind of like the dungeon game, which I own. It's kind of D&D adjacent, but not
Right.
really.
Yeah.
You know,
It doesn't have any of the role playing in it. You're just dealing with like different problems. It's like a problem solving game.
Yeah, it's got like the dungeon, and the dungeon split into 4 colors, and each color is like a level of the dungeon, which
Okay.
is the monster deck you pull from. So you move your character around, and if you go into the orange room, you got to flip the orange card, and it'll just say monster and number, and the number is what you got to roll over with 2 dice 6. If you don't, then you're defeated. The monster stays in a room, and you have to go back to the start or some shit.
Okay. Now, is there a harder like difficulty you could play after you beat it already, or are you done?
The dungeon game, yeah.
Okay.
Because like all the players start out like in the beginning, and the first rooms that you encounter are like super weak. It's like, you know, rat, goblin, right?
Yeah.
But if you move, because you roll to see how far you move, well, if you decide to skip through all the low level shit and run right to the purple rooms, when you flip the card, it's going to be like lich, dragon, and then it'll have like I think the dragon, if you don't beat it, it kills you. You go back to the beginning and you drop all of your equipment.
Oh man, yeah,
so
that sucks.
It's basically you're starting over. But the whole point of the game is every monster is worth an amount of XP or whatever.
Yeah.
And as you get it, you just set it beside, and when you get the right amount of gold or whatever, you win. Whoever hits, you know.
Okay.
So it's a really, really old game. It came out in like, I don't know, maybe the 70s or the 80s, but so, yeah.
People still asking you when you're going to stop talking about Hyperborea?
Yeah.
I don't know why that is. You know, it's like D&D is the only game you can talk about year round, but for some reason.
Well, the thing is like, I'm not sure. I have a reputation, which I fully own, to like having played a lot of games. Mm-hmm. But I sat down and thought about it, and I was like, actually, other than a few games that just straight up failed, I've never ran a game for less than 6 months or a year.
Right.
So, like the Doom game, it just failed. The players, at first, they liked it, and then they decided they just didn't want to play it.
Was that the Modiphius Doom?
Yeah. So I'm like,
okay,
fine. And I think we tried Twilight 2000, and everybody was like, no, F this, you know, right off the bat. But, and of course, no sci-fi game ever lasts here, no matter how hard I try.
Wow.
Well, it's because I have a bunch of players who want to play fantasy games. They don't want to play sci-fi. So, we ended up playing OSC. We played OSC for like 2 or 3 years straight. I ran AD&D for a year and a half.
Yeah. Because
I wanted to take the new players that at my table through the old AD&D modules using the AD&D rules.
Right.
So they could see what it was like. And so, no, it's not like I change games all the time. Like they bring up, do you still like Adventure Conquer King? And I'm like, I absolutely love Adventure Conquer King. And we played it for like a year and a half.
Right.
You know, and then we decided to play something else because of a TPK. And
That's usually another, it's a good starting point when everybody
Right.
gets wiped out. Yeah.
so I guess to answer your question, I don't know. It's kind of like, why do people call Shadow gay? Cause
They're jealous. They're jealous of his hair.
behind it.
It's because they're jealous of his long, luxurious hair.
Maybe. But like me and changing games all the damn time, that's the same thing as Shadow. I mean, where this, this started with my wife.
Mhm.
Because my wife is of the opinion that when you start playing a game, you play it
Mhm.
until you die.
Okay. Yeah.
So she don't believe in the year-long campaign. As long as you're still breathing and players are showing up at the table, we're playing this game. That's what she wants. And,
Right.
and I think it's because the first game she ever played was D20 Modern. And that campaign went for like 5 years until like people went to jail and all kinds of other shit went on.
A lot of serious out of game issues came up.
Well, Florida's hardcore. If you don't pay your child support, they
Yeah.
will come and get your ass. They don't joke around down here. So, and the guy who was running the game didn't pay child support. And then when they got him, they wanted to give him a penalty to make him pay. And he said, F it, put me in jail. And they did. And that ended the game.
Yeah.
But because of that experience, she feels like if a game doesn't go on for like a decade, then what are you doing? Why are you bothering? But again, she's also the one that likes to get to know every cabbage farmer in the village. And
Yeah.
like her character always wants to be like fully immersed in whatever the hell is going on, wherever you are.
Right.
And then one of the players I have at the table hates NPCs with a white hot passion.
All right.
Like, his opinion is if the NPC isn't trying to hire him to go kill something, why does it exist? And I'm like, because you're in a village.
Yeah.
And there's villagers in the village. And he's like, well, I don't give I want to talk to these fuckers,
No worries. But yeah, that's the thing. I've gotten to the point now where it's like if people outright go and just kill them thinking that nothing's going to happen, I do all kinds of horrible stuff to people. And I love it when they're like, why should you kill don't kill players? I'm like, yeah, don't kill players. Maim their characters. That's what they love. That's their investment. So if you cut off a foot or a hand or something, they'll cry about it until the cows come home. And it's music to my ears because they'll sit there and talk about torturing like villagers and stuff like that. And it's like, all right, well, let's turn it around a little bit. Oh, you didn't like it, did you? You starting to learn? I'll make you learn. So, yeah.
I can imagine that you're walking through the forest doing something, roll a whatever check. Oh, you fell, you stepped in a bear trap, snapped your leg.
Yeah,
that
remember
you're stuck in the bear trap, but your lower leg's only hanging on by like some bits of beef jerky, and out come the bandits. So you got to figure it out. Now, what are you going to do? Sit there?
Yeah.
Or pull
it's like, oh yeah, no, these are the guys that were hired by the other NPC to hunt you down for what you did. So maybe you should give a shit. It's a world you exist in. Otherwise, go play Diablo, man. There's plenty of games, Path of Exile, all of those. You don't have to talk to anybody. You just kill stuff.
Yeah, it turns out that Samuel, the local cabbage farmer, was actually well connected.
Yeah. It could be everybody loves talking to the guy. You do that every now and then where you go to a funeral and you're like, there's like 7,000 people here. What the hell's going on? And it's like that everybody just loved him. So you can imagine some jerk off comes passing through the town and it's just like, I'm going to randomly start killing people. And it's like, well, you're going to kill the wrong guy and then something really nasty is going to happen to you. Yeah. I don't know. People that don't get that out of their system, I think really have an issue. Like I could tell from like new players, they do that where they're like, I'm going to light things on fire and do all kinds of crazy stuff. And you're like, okay, get it. get it out of your system, and we'll move on to actually role playing. But there are people who are like still like that into their 40s and 50s, and it's like, keep an eye on this guy. This guy's got issues.
Right. I'm lucky I don't have to deal with any of that.
Yep.
And that's just,
Curate your table, baby. That's how it works. Those people just find a way to never find, I don't come to my house anymore.
well, I think, and I've said this multiple times at one point or another. I think a big part of the reason my group is the way it is that there's as many women in the group as there is.
Yeah.
And
they're far less likely to be weirdos.
Yeah, these, we're talking about between late 20s to 50-year-old women. They're a lot more into immersion and playing the game, and they really don't care about just lighting shit randomly on fire or killing some dude for no reason. And then if I had players in my group who were of that ilk, they probably get taken care of pretty quick by their own party members,
Sure.
Because if you've got somebody in the party, one of the ladies is playing like some kind of lawful good or remotely good something, and then you decide to do something really murderous in front of them, and then, no one in the group should do anything murderous in front of my wife's character. She's a level 2 or 3 berserker now, and if she goes into a berserk, there's no one in the party that's going to stop her. She'll just kill them all.
Yeah.
Because Hyperborea is like that.
Yeah.
Like if she dual wields, she gets 5 attacks every 2 rounds. If she's got a great weapon, it's 3 every 2. And then she gets +4 to hit and damage. So, for a little while, she just turns into a lawnmower. But the negative is, and she can keep fighting even into the negatives. But then if the rage ends and she's past her point, she falls out and could be dead.
Right.
So,
Yeah. That's another cool thing about Hyperborea. Like level 3 is actually something to watch out about. Like since 10 is the cap, it really kind of everybody evenly scales nicely. There isn't any of that where it's like, well, the rogue or the thief has to get to like level 7 before he's as good as X, Y, and Z. It's like, no, everybody's got their own little abilities, and they're all kind of really good as they keep going up. So, yeah, Talanian did a really good job with that system. So hopefully he can kind of keep up and get more stuff out.
Now, Richard told me this, and I don't know if Richard had talked to Talanian, but he's putting out a book that's going to be the
he was saying it's going to be like the Chromium.
The lore in it too.
Oh, really? Okay, because I know he did an atlas that had a bunch of stuff. Like the hex map was broke down, then he kind of focused on certain areas.
But it doesn't explain what anything is in it's just like
not really in depth.
If you want to know anything about the world, you got to have the referee's book and read the back, right? Mm-hmm. Well, I guess he's talking about taking all that from the back and adding it to a map, and then that being the setting book of Hyperborea.
Yeah. That's what I heard. I heard
rules agnostic, so anybody could pick it up and run it with anything, really.
Sure.
But our highest level characters in the group right now are the thieves. But they take, like, the thieves level twice as fast as the berserker, basically, to a point, and then they all slow down. But you are right about the classes. Every class just starts out with some decent abilities at first level. So they're all, no one's standing around feeling like they suck right off the bat, You don't have people being like, oh man, I can't wait till I hit this level so I can finally,
be useful.
Yeah.
It isn't like old school D&D where you're a cleric and you don't even have a healing spell or any spells at first level. You're just a guy. At least I can wear plate mail and swing a sword like the fighter, just a little bit worse.
Yeah.
Like, okay. I don't know.
Well, I'm sure you've read the books, and I've said this numerous times. A lot of people read the Hyperborea Players book and they get all lost in all the subclasses.
Mm-hmm.
But the basic classes, in a lot of ways, are superior to the subclasses.
Pretty good.
There's a few that stand out, but I mean, the mage gets more spells.
Yeah.
The fighter gets more weapon proficiencies. The basic cleric is a badass. But hey, we have a guy in the group who Haas is playing a cleric, human cleric. Well, they're all humans, a cleric. And then my brother-in-law is playing a human fighter. And then I think everyone else might have went with the subclass. But
yeah. Well, that was a thing. Like I took the paladin in Bloodworth's game that only lasted like 2 or 3 sessions, but it was like, oh, okay, yeah, you get a bunch of stuff at the start, but like the fighter can have the double specialization, and he's the only one that can do it. Everybody else like gets their other little side stuff. So,
yep. Yeah. The only subclass fighter that gets 2 weapon proficiencies is the
Cataphract, I think, right?
Because you have to take lance.
Yeah.
And I guess Telanian thought it'd be kind of shitty to force a guy to take a lance and not
Right.
something else.
Yeah. Hey, lure them out of the cave so I could do my cavalry charge on them. Otherwise, I'm going to kind of suck.
You're right. I'm going to be like the worst fighter forever. How you doing, William? But anyway, I'm glad I got to talk to you.
Yeah.
You brightened up the thing, but it's time for me to go.
You got to go put something down on paper. I got you. No worries.
But thank you for dropping in.
Yeah, no worries.
Have a wonderful day.
All righty, man. We'll catch you next time.
Yep.